the Baal Tshuva wanted to know how to explain light and luminescence, and I explained this to him. He was satisfied, and he told my answer over to one of the foremost students in the yeshiva, who at that point decided that he was the thought police, that I had said something heretical about the Rabbeim, that their concept was somehow or other not exact. He came over to me and he said, Chaim Moshe, I understand that you said that a mashal, an example in Chassidus, is not precise. Not wanting to get into a conflict, an argument with the thought police, with someone who didn't know my own knowledge of secular studies, and getting into this kind of discussion, which usually winds up when you have several people who don't know anything that you know, and they wind up attacking you and demeaning you. So rather than do that, I demurred. I said, I didn't really say that. So he smirked and went away. Somehow or other, I felt guilty. That somehow or other, I was not a complete card-carrying ideological chassid because of my secular studies. A few months later, when I was a chassan, a groom, I went to Montreal. In the first session that one of the mashpiyim, one of the rabbis in the Hasidic department, talked about to the senior class was that the Rebbe explained that light, physical light, is different from spiritual light, because physical light does expend energy. And so here I was wanting to be a chassid. The reason why I had a question was because I had studied a little bit of physics, a little bit of chemistry, natural science, and this brought me in conflict with the apparent meaning of a very basic theme in the Hasidic world. Now project that thousands of times over in different arenas, whether it's in the Tanakh or the Chumash or the Shulchan Aruch. I'll give you another example. Before Pesach, we take water from a spring right before sundown. We don't want that the sunlight should shine on the water, because the sunlight will somehow or other affect the water in a negative way. It'll become active and might cause chametz when it mingles with flour. We don't take it afterwards because at night the water might become active because of various reasons. And these reasons that are given, for those of us who studied astronomy, for those of us who have a rudimentary understanding of light and its effect, would find not just the explanations astounding, but would reject those explanations totally. It is clear to this observer that the Rishonim did not know modern astronomy or any kind of astronomy, and that they certainly did not understand the effects of what they observed when they saw things. A proof that water was heated from an outside source or affected intensely by an outside source during the night was seen because in the morning you see the mist coming up, and that's a proof that the water had become heated. Anyone who knows anything about condensation and the cooling down of condensation causing clouds understands that the clouds that you see over a body of water comes from the cooling down of the water vapor that exists normally in the air, and when it cools down, it creates a cloud. And that's how you see fogs, the bottom of valleys, near bodies of water. It has nothing to do with the water being heated. And so, Mayim Shalanu is a halacha, and we accept that halacha. But the explanations given by the Rishonim would cause any person who has a rudimentary knowledge of natural science to reject it outright. And there are many other examples, both in halacha and in history and archaeology, that does not require the internet for a person to question. The problem that exists is that there is no serious discussion about these issues in the Orthodox community. One of the major publishers of Jewish Bible and Halacha refuses to discuss things that are controversial, and so avoids them altogether. Questions of historicity, of Seder Olam, of how long certain people lived, when they lived, when certain things happened, where there are clear contradictions from archaeology. Those are never discussed. Anything that's controversial is never discussed. And so people who have a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of understanding and insight into the issues at hand, never get the questions answered. Because most Rebbeim are ignorant, or make themselves ignorant of the issues. The question as to whether the sun goes around the earth or the earth goes around the sun. It's Gemara Chagiga, the Rambam brings it l'halocha that the sun goes around the earth. All of us who've learned secular studies assume that the earth goes around the sun as a matter of course. And when we are presented with this as a matter of principle, for most people it's very hard to accept, and in fact for most people they reject this. And this is not something that will go away. This is something that eats at the person. And when you have insensitive people out there not understanding that there is a legitimate reason for people to question, these people go underground and they think they can't talk to anyone. And that's why you have what is called the orthopraxy. The truth is, there are answers. Some answers may be good, some answers may not be good. But we have to begin the discussion and not demean those people, because they don't need the internet to become apikursin. They just need a brain. We need a more serious discussion with those people who have those thoughts. And the reason why they stay in the community is very simple. They believe in the Torah. They want the Torah to win. They believe very, very deeply, and they should not be demeaned.